In a quiet village surrounded by dusty roads and golden wheat fields, there lived a donkey named Kalu. He was not strong like the village oxen, nor fast like the horses. But he had something rare, a soft heart. Kalu belonged to a merchant named Hariram. Hariram was known in the village as a clever businessman. People respected him because he was wealthy, but few noticed how he treated those who worked for him, especially Kalu. Every morning before sunrise, Hariram would load heavy sacks of grain onto Kalu's back. The sacks were always too many and too heavy. Kalu's legs trembled, but he never complained. When other animals rested under the banyan tree at noon, Kalu was still walking under the burning sun. The horse once asked him, "Why don't you refuse? Why don't you slow down?" Kalu smiled gently. "Master works hard too. If I don't carry the load, how will he earn?" But what Kalu did not understand was this: Hariram never carried anything. He only commanded. One day, Hariram discovered he could earn more profit by taking goods to a farther town. The road was longer, rockier, and dangerous. Still, he chose Kalu for the job. "You are loyal," Hariram said. "You never protest." Those words filled Kalu with pride. He thought loyalty meant love. The journey began before dawn. The road to the next town passed through a forest and over a steep hill. Hariram loaded double the usual weight onto Kalu's back. The donkey staggered but moved forward. Halfway up the hill, Kalu slipped. A sack fell and tore open. Grain scattered down the slope. Hariram's face turned red with anger. "Useless animal," he shouted, striking Kalu with a stick. Kalu felt pain, not just in his body but in his heart. He had worked without rest, without complaint. Yet one mistake erased all his loyalty. That night, they rested near a small stream. Kalu could not sleep. His body ached, his back was wounded, and for the first time in his life, a thought disturbed him. Am I valued, or am I only used? The next morning, as they continued, they passed a farmer struggling to pull a cart stuck in mud. The farmer had a small donkey beside him, thin but cheerful. The farmer patted his donkey neck gently. "Easy, Chotu, we'll manage together." Kalu noticed something different. The load on Chotu's back was light. The farmer pushed the cart himself while the donkey helped only a little. They made eye contact. Chotu smiled warmly. Later, as Hariram walked ahead, Kalu asked Chotu quietly, "Doesn't your master load you heavily?" Chotu shook his head. "He says I am his partner, not his tool." That word, tool, echoed in Kalu's mind. All his life, he had believed obedience was love. He thought silence was strength. He thought sacrifice would bring appreciation. But Hariram never once said thank you. Never once reduced the weight. Never once cared if Kalu was tired. The final turning point came near the edge of the forest. The road narrowed beside a deep ditch. The load was again too heavy. Kalu's legs were weak. Hariram shouted from behind, "Move faster. We must reach before sunset." Kalu took one step, then stopped. Hariram struck him again, "Move." But this time, something had changed. Kalu did not move. He was not being stubborn. He was not being angry. He was choosing dignity. Hariram hit him harder, but Kalu calmly bent his knees and sat down. Travelers passing by watched the scene. One old man shook his head. "You overload him every day," he said to Hariram. "Even a donkey has limits." Hariram felt embarrassed. The crowd grew. People whispered. Finally, Hariram removed 2 sacks from Kalu's back. "Fine," he muttered. "Lazy animal." But when the weight lessened, Kalu stood up easily. And in that moment, something powerful happened. Hariram realized he had pushed too far. If Kalu stopped forever, his business would suffer. From that day on, Hariram reduced the load. Not because he became kind overnight, but because Kalu showed him he was not a machine. Kalu learned an important lesson. Kindness does not mean allowing yourself to be used. Loyalty does not mean losing your self-respect. Hard work is noble, but silent suffering invites exploitation. Months passed. Kalu became stronger, not because the load was lighter, but because his heart was. One afternoon, Hariram tried to overload him again. Kalu simply stood still. No anger, no noise, just firmness. Hariram sighed and removed the extra sacks. Respect had finally been taught. Not through rebellion, but through boundaries. Years later, Villagers told a story about the quiet donkey who changed his master without speaking a single word. The horse once asked him again, "What made you change?" Kalu replied softly, "The day I realized I was not born to be someone's tool. I was born to be valued." And that was the truth many humans fail to understand. People who never complain are often the most exploited. Those who always say, yes, are given the heaviest burdens. The world does not always reward silent sacrifice, sometimes it simply takes advantage of it. Being kind is beautiful, being generous is noble, but being used is not a virtue. There is a difference between helping and allowing yourself to be drained. Kalu did not stop working. He did not become lazy. He did not run away. He simply stopped accepting unfair treatment. And that small change transformed his life.